Unlock the secrets of the Great Vault. Deep inside a hidden laboratory, young Arjun struggles to master the chaotic art of chemistry. Professor Vikram, the eccentric master, watches his apprentice with a mixture of patience and amusement. Arjun's lab coat is messy, and his oversized glasses often slip down his nose during experiments. Sparky, the silver robotic drone, hovers nearby, displaying a curious emoji on its digital face. The professor delivers a stern warning: Arjun must master chemical reactions to unlock the Great Vault. If Arjun fails this challenge, the laboratory and its secrets will be locked away forever. The first lesson begins simply as the professor hands Arjun a thin strip of magnesium ribbon. With a trembling hand, Arjun touches the flame to the metal ribbon. Suddenly, the ribbon erupts into a blinding, brilliant white light that fills the room. Shocked by the intensity, Arjun jumps backward, nearly knocking over a flask. Professor Vikram explains that this dazzling flash is the result of a chemical reaction. The silver ribbon has vanished, replaced by a pile of fine white powder. This new substance is magnesium oxide, created when magnesium reacts with oxygen in the air. Vikram teaches Arjun to identify reactions by looking for color changes, heat, and smell. To advance, Arjun must now learn the secret language of chemistry, the symbols. The professor writes hydrogen plus oxygen equals water in plain words first. Then, he replaces the words with H2 and O2, showing how symbols represent elements. Arjun steps up to the board, eager to try writing his own chemical equation. He writes 1H2 and 1O2 making 1H2O, unaware of the mistake he just made. Suddenly, the entire laboratory begins to shake violently as if an earthquake hit. A loud, piercing alarm echoes through the halls, signaling a chemical imbalance. Sparky flies frantically around Arjun's head, flashing a big red X on its screen. Professor Vikram laughs, explaining that Arjun has violated the law of conservation of mass. He explains that matter cannot be created or destroyed, it must be balanced on both sides. Vikram shows Arjun how to use coefficients to ensure every atom is accounted for. Arjun carefully corrects the equation to 2H2 plus O2 equals 2H2O. As soon as the equation is balanced, the shaking stops and a secret door slides open. They step inside the first chamber, known as the combination zone, where elements merge. Arjun sees two separate gases floating inside shimmering glass spheres. He pushes the spheres together, and they snap into one single, solid product with a click. Vikram explains this is a combination reaction, like quicklime and water forming slaked lime. A wave of heat suddenly washes over the room, warming the air around them. They leave the warmth behind and enter the decomposition zone, where things break apart. In this place, Arjun finds a heavy piece of limestone waiting on a pedestal. Professor Vikram instructs Arjun to apply intense heat to the limestone using a glowing thermal torch. Under the heat, the limestone begins to crack and hiss, releasing a cloud of invisible carbon dioxide gas. Vikram explains that this is thermal decomposition, where one substance breaks down into two simpler ones. They move further into the zone and find a large glass tank filled with shimmering, clear water. Arjun connects a powerful battery to two electrodes submerged deep inside the water. Suddenly, thousands of tiny bubbles begin to swarm around the electrodes, splitting the water apart. Vikram reveals that electricity has forced the water to decompose into hydrogen and oxygen gases. Sparky flies over the tank, displaying a chemical formula for H2O splitting into H2 and O2 on its screen. Next, they encounter a tray covered in a mysterious, bright white silver chloride powder. Arjun pulls back the heavy velvet curtains, allowing a beam of brilliant sunlight to hit the powder. Right before his eyes, the white powder transforms into a dull, metallic grey color. Vikram explains that light energy can also cause decomposition, a process used in early photography. The group exits the zone and arrives at the lake of displacement, where the water glows a vivid blue. Vikram tells Arjun that the blue color comes from copper sulfate dissolved in the water. The professor hands Arjun a grey, metallic piece of zinc to drop into the lake. As Arjun drops the zinc, the blue water around the metal begins to fade into a clear liquid. A reddish-brown coating of pure copper starts to grow and wrap around the zinc strip. Vikram explains that zinc is more reactive and kicks the copper out of the solution. They cross a shimmering bridge known as the double displacement bridge, where two solutions meet. Arjun pours two clear liquids together, and a thick white precipitate forms instantly like a cloud. Vikram describes this as a dance where ions swap partners to create a new solid substance. The atmosphere turns heavy and metallic as they enter the redox realm. On the left side, Arjun sees copper gaining oxygen to turn into a dark copper oxide. Vikram explains that this process of gaining oxygen is called oxidation. On the right side, hydrogen steals oxygen away from the copper oxide, restoring the pure metal. Vikram teaches Arjun that this opposite process is called reduction, and together they form a redox reaction. To pass the final test, Arjun faces a giant iron pillar that is crumbling into reddish-brown flakes. Arjun realizes the iron is reacting with air and moisture, identifying the process as corrosion. He suggests painting and galvanizing the metal to create a protective barrier against the rust. For the final surprise, Vikram presents a plate of old, oily snacks that smell terrible. Arjun takes a sniff and makes a disgusted face, immediately recognizing the scent of rancidity. He explains that the oils have been oxidized by the air, making the food taste bad. Arjun quickly grabs a nitrogen-filled bag and an airtight container to show how to prevent it. The great vault finally slides open, but instead of gold, Arjun finds a large, ornate mirror. Looking in the mirror, Arjun sees a confident chemist. He realizes the true prize was the knowledge he gained.